Ancient Egyptians produced olive oil, especially during the later periods of Egyptian history. Olive cultivation expanded significantly during the New Kingdom and later under Greek influence. More than 2,000 years ago, in the fertile lands of ancient Egypt, olive trees stretched across the countryside. Their fruit was small, but its value was immense. From cooking and medicine to sacred rituals and trade, olive oil was one of the most important products of the ancient world. Harvesting typically occurred when the olives reached maturity. Workers picked the fruit by hand or gently knocked branches with sticks. The olives were then collected in baskets and transported to nearby workshops. Timing was critical. Olives harvested too early produced less oil, while overripe fruit could reduce quality. Olive trees were well suited to Egypt's warm climate. Although olives were not as common as wheat or barley, they became increasingly important during Egypt's later periods. Large estates cultivated olive orchards, especially in regions influenced by Greek settlers. Once harvested, the olives had to be crushed. Large stone wheels or grinding stones broke the fruit into a thick paste. This process crushed both the flesh and the pits. The resulting mixture contained oil, water, and solid plant material. Crushing was often the most labor-intensive stage of production. After crushing, the olive paste was placed into woven baskets or fiber mats. Workers then applied pressure using wooden presses. As the paste was compressed, a mixture of oil and water slowly flowed out. Ancient presses relied entirely on human labor and simple mechanical principles, yet they could produce surprisingly large quantities of oil. The extracted liquid was not pure oil. It contained water and tiny particles from the olives. Workers allowed the mixture to settle inside containers. Because oil naturally floats above water, it could be carefully skimmed from the surface. This simple technique was used across the Mediterranean for centuries. Once the olive oil had been separated from water and impurities, it was ready for storage. Ancient Egyptians carefully poured the precious liquid into large ceramic containers known as amphorae. These vessels were specially designed for storing and transporting valuable goods. Their narrow necks reduced exposure to air, helping preserve the oil's quality for longer periods. Inside workshops and storage facilities, rows of amphorae stood neatly arranged, often sealed with clay stoppers or resin to prevent contamination. Some containers were marked with symbols or inscriptions identifying their contents, origin, or destination. Proper storage was essential, as olive oil was a valuable commodity used in cooking, medicine, religious ceremonies, cosmetics, and lighting. Large warehouses served as collection centers where olive oil from surrounding groves was gathered before distribution. These buildings protected the oil from the intense Egyptian heat and allowed merchants to manage large quantities destined for trade. Workers carefully recorded and organized shipments, ensuring supplies reached cities, temples, military garrisons, and wealthy households. Transportation relied heavily on Egypt's greatest highway, the Nile River. Amphorae were loaded onto wooden boats that carried their cargo between settlements along the river.